Hey guys, my name is Priscilla Elias and today I'll help you with something I often get asked about. How to remove something from a photo. And today I'll show you how to specifically and quickly remove a light stand in Photoshop. But you can use the same technique to remove any other object you like. The technique is exactly the same. And in advance, I will tell you, there might be other ways to do this. This is just the way I learned to do it and the way that works just fine for me. This is how I remove unwanted objects from my photos, and I hope this tip is as helpful to you as it is to me, allowing me to turn photos I would not use into photos that simply look great. Right after the intro. Okay, so I just found this photo here we took for Christmas. Me, Ricardo, Hunter, and Luca. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's get rid of this light stand. So the first thing I'll do here is I'll create a second layer. So Command G, created a new layer. Let's call it light stand. Then I'll come to Clone Stem tool, and since I have a lot of things going on here, so I have the blanket, I have my pajama, which is not a very easy pattern to work with. I'll work with this part by part. But if you have a simple background, it is much easier to do, because for example, let's say if I had to make a change here on the blanket, it would be much easier. You can just come here to this area and then just substitute, I need to set the opacity here to 100%, so I can just come here and substitute this part, for example, okay? But basically what we're doing is we're getting this Clone Stem tool and we're substituting little parts of the image. So opacity to 100%, and you can work with the opacity depending on what you have also. This is something, guys, that might sound a little bit hard in the beginning, but once you get the feeling of it and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then after a couple of times you try this, you'll be able to make changes to very challenging surfaces, which is maybe the case here. Let's see, hopefully not that challenging. So what I'll do is I'll hit Option and then I'll clone the part of the image that I want to substitute the stand for. So get this part of the image here, Option, click, and I'll bring it over here. I'm substituting that area. Great, so this is different, so let's get this part here and put it here. Looks perfect to me. Second thing I'll do is I need to make this part red. So just get part of the image where the shadows look kind of alike, like for example here, and I'll just substitute this part. Whoops. Get it again, substitute. Get it again, substitute, get it again, get it again. And you do that until you get that totally done. This white part here, let's fill this line. Make it smaller. To access the size of the brush, just right click with your mouse here and then you can just change it. You can also change the hardness of it. I usually work on hardness 1 to 15, but it really depends on what we're working at. So that's what I'm saying, that you need to practice to really get the feel for this. It might take a while until you master it, so I suggest you start with easy things to get rid of. But also, if you don't practice with harder things, you'll never get good enough, so challenge yourself. Almost anything is possible. So let's get some white lines going on here. That's good. Let's get this substituted here. Here, whoops. Here again. Very well. We're almost done with the pajama. Get this better a bit. So the thing is, you need to observe and be patient with the small parts of the object. what area of the photo looks like the area that I want to substitute. That's good enough. Okay, now we need to get rid of this here, and also this blanket is standing up from the stand itself. I could also change this, and you do this just the exact same way. So I'll hit Option, click over the area that I want to substitute, and then you might need to make a couple of tries until it looks good. Might not look good on your first try, might take a while, so get ready to work on this. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes you'll get this to 100%. Okay, that looks good to me. I can even extend this a little bit, for example. Let's make this go further on the photo so it won't have that wooden piece there. Perfect. And yeah, we just got rid of that stand. Boom. Here's the before. Here's the after. And again, you can do this with anything. If I want to make this star disappear here, for example, this is one of the simple adjustments I was telling you about earlier. So since I have a black background, which has a big area back here, and I don't have like small patterns or anything like it was the case here, where I needed to change the pajamas with these stripes and the blanket that had also this different texture. In this case, it's all black and it's just a star. So what I can do is I'll just hit Option, click over there in the black area, and then I'll just come over to the star and paint it. And when I get close to the hair, then this is when, for example, I don't use the hardness of the brush so low, because if you do this, this is what it will look like. It looks like a bit soft, so it looks fake in the end. So Command Z, I'll get this undone. And then right click the mouse, set the hardness to maybe 80%. Let's see if it looks like the depth of field I have in the picture. This is a bit too much. 70 here at around 58. So you see, you just need to see what you actually have in hand. So depending on the depth of field you have, the hardness you will use is different. And depending on how accurate you need the corners of this substitution of your image to be. So let's get this smaller a bit. Option. Get the edges right here. And I can even get rid of this hair here, for example. I don't want it. Boom. Done. Opacity to the 24, just so that I'll get this corner here a bit softer, not such a hard difference. And here's the before and after of a much simpler object. That's it. That's all for today, guys. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate if you did that, as it would help me back a whole lot. Thank you so much for watching me. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!